Hey everyone, it's Michelle from Nannies on Call and the Nanny Solution. And each week we're bringing you new videos to educate and inspire you to be the best nanny you can be. Let's get started. This week we're going to talk about the ways you can ensure success at your new nanny job. I know it can be really difficult with families when you're stepping into a new role. Often families are either hiring nannies for the first time or they're not great employers. And I don't mean that like you're not going to be happy at your job. I just mean they're not good at giving direction, training, having manuals. If you were stepping into a role as an accountant or as a project manager, all of these things would be taken care of. But families aren't used to having employees. And so as a professional nanny, it's your job to come in and educate them and help them make the transition as smooth as possible so that you can have the best experience possible. So let's get right into it. Tip number 1 actually starts before you even accept the job. It's a trial day or days. This is the opportunity after you have your interview to have a few paid days. Note that you are getting paid for these days to see if the family and you get along. If you get along with their children, you can really see the children's behavior. They can see your work style. You can see if your values match. It's a great way to really iron out some of the details that maybe are to come. And this is the perfect time to figure out if this is the job you want to commit to. So suggesting trial days, it does happen a lot. It is quite common. So if they don't suggest it, maybe it's something you want to suggest of having a day or two. At most, I would say a week, so 5 days, because you don't want them taking advantage of nannies and just doing these trial days again and again and again and never actually hiring a nanny. So 2 to 5 days is plenty to get a sense of the family and make sure that you think you're going to be a great fit for them. Okay, moving on. Tip number 2, shadowing. This can be a little trickier, of course. So if the family had a past nanny and you're stepping in because she's leaving for whatever reason, moving on to a new job, moving cities, it doesn't matter. You can ask if you could shadow with that nanny for a week. This can get a little complicated, of course, because now they have to pay 2 nannies' salaries for the week, but it can also be very beneficial. You can find out the ins and outs of how they like things, the ins and outs of where to pick up, drop off the kids. Instead of the family training you, it's going to be their past nanny training you. And this can be a huge benefit. So if there's that opportunity, it might be something you want to ask for when you're just starting your position. Of course, you want to ask in the interview stage if they have a nanny leaving. Maybe even if there's not going to be a crossover, you can, if you're interviewing and she's still there, you can, and I should say, I keep saying she, but doesn't matter. She, he, they, whatever you prefer. You can shadow the person that's currently working for them and get an idea what they're looking for. Tip number 3, a family manual. Very few families have this produced. At the agency, we suggest it. We also provide information on how to do it up, but that doesn't mean the family does. Often the family's much too busy or they feel they're much too busy to do this, but this is really a great way for you to show your professionalism and your knowledge about how to perform in the role. So you can start a family manual. Instead of sitting down with them and asking them all the questions all at once, as you learn about their family, you can be putting this manual together, and in the future, you can hand it to them as showing how you've gone above and beyond and created this manual for their family. So what should go in the manual? Really anything about the children's allergies, preferences, how to get the child to sleep, bath time, whatever it is that you find out about the children that's helpful tips and information, you put in there under the children's section. And then there's a household section. So do they like their dishwasher loaded in a certain way? Do they prefer certain, if you do the shopping or help with the errands, do they prefer certain dish detergent? Do they, whatever it is about the household, where's the water shut off? Where's the electricity? If you blow a fuse, all of those things, as you learn them, you put them in this manual and you can show the family that you have all of this. What happens often is nannies are asking the same questions again and again and again, and it really frustrates parents. So try not to be that nanny, write it down, keep it in a manual, and when the manual is complete, which it kind of never is because you're always updating it, you can show it to the family and give it to them. And even when you leave, it will be easier for them to train another nanny. So you're going to look like a hero. I guarantee it. Just going back, one more thing you want to put in the family manual, obviously, is emergency information, mom's phone numbers, dad's phone numbers, their address, who to contact in case of an emergency, the pediatrician. I mean, this manual can get quite large. Again, you don't have to sit down and do it in the first week, but it's really going to help you out as you go along, and it's going to make you look like the professional that you are. Number 4 is a communication book. This can take several different forms these days. I personally love a book on the counter, in the kitchen, or wherever the highest trafficked area is. So this would be just even a lined paper book or a calendar that has 1 day per calendar day. And in this is how you communicate back and forth with really busy families. You can suggest it. If they allow you, you can go purchase it and they'll refund you the money, or you can show them exactly the one you want and they'll go purchase it for you. But you're the one who should suggest this if they have not done it. So you can communicate back and forth. Things like, the children were really tired today, cranky, bottle feeding, diaper changing, what foods they're out of. If you're not in charge of grocery shopping, if they run out of foods, there can be a section for that. It's a really helpful way for you to write something down really quickly when you think of it, and then you don't forget to tell them at the end of the day when they've run out of diapers, wipes, whatever it is. The other thing is the families can also write things in there for you each day. So, pediatrician appointment, or kids have soccer this afternoon, or just sign them up for a new skating lesson, whatever it is, so they can communicate with you. And if you have time, you can go through that communication together each day. But if not, at least you're writing everything out. It's also a great history of the children and your time with them, especially if it's their first smile, the first time they walked, the first time riding their bike, whatever it is. It's really nice to put those memories in there and have a history of it from the year you were with the family. So communication book, if they don't have one, make sure you're suggesting one. The last thing we suggest is a shared calendar. This can be done many ways. You could use the communication book if it was an actual calendar. Some people just use lined pages in a book, but if it's a shared calendar, that could also qualify. Or you could use a shared Google Calendar or a shared iCalendar. There's lots of apps to do it if that's easier for you. But you want to share with the family, or more, the family wants to share with you soccer, kids drop off, pro D days, spring break, all of the things that are coming up in the children's calendar. I hear so often nannies are frustrated because they're not told about things that are upcoming, or that children just got signed up for soccer. There's just so many things going on in children's lives these days that you want to make sure you're always on top of it. So if you share a calendar with the family and they put the things that have to do with the children on there, then nothing's ever going to get forgotten, nothing's ever going to get missed, and you're going to know what's going on ahead of time. Okay, so that's 5 ideas to help you succeed at your new nanny job. And I know it seems like some of these things will help you long term, and they absolutely will. These are things you should continue to do. But as a professional nanny, if you come in and help educate the family and teach them how to communicate, how to provide information, which is communication, how to have the family manual, how to ensure that you're going to stay there for a long time, you're going to be happy in your role, and they are going to find you indispensable, which is exactly what you want, because you want to stay at this new role for a long time. Okay, I think that's all. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any additional tips, we'd love to hear them down below, or if you have any other videos you'd like to see, I'd like to hear from you. That's all for now, and we will see you next Saturday with a new video. Have a great week.